Welcome. Welcome. It's not funny. I'm glad he's all right, man. I'm glad he's all right. It's not funny. I'm glad he's all right, though. T3 Controversy. This is T3 Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe. All the links to my social media right down below in the description box. Basically, we're back in the saddle. Today's been rough because I'm getting like my body adjusted to like the full-time boxing schedule now. You know, so now like we talked about, like for all these months, it's been like close to 2 years now. What is it, about 19 months or so? We're actually back to where we can cover boxing daily now. So as you can see, I put out a series of videos today, short videos, and we're going to be pumping out 3 to 5 videos. We're going to do 3+ videos a day, depending on the boxing schedule and the news and things like that. And where the website is getting more active, and now it was kind of a blessing in disguise that I got sick. Don't get me wrong. I was hurt. If you don't know, we're going to start talking about boxing in about 15 minutes or so. I was supposed to be at Garcia versus Thurman last week, but you know how it works. Life isn't always fair, And I didn't get to go because I got sick literally on my way there. I was on my way to catch the Amtrak out to New York. But long story short, I've done nothing but rest this week and have time to reflect on things, and basically more so appreciate the fact that I've actually made it to where I've been wanting to make it to for like years now, it seems. So now I'm at a point in time where I can actually literally just focus on boxing like I always wanted to. So over the next few days, no, I'm going to say over the next week, as you can see, what you will see is I'm going to be pumping out a lot more videos on like breaking news, rumors, and things like that. And we're only going to do these streams maybe about twice a week, unless there's like some major news that comes out. Then we may have like an hour-long stream, 2-hour stream. But now it's pretty much time to get all the things that I put together over the last couple of years in order. So even though I've been stressing over the last several months and taking it out on other people, it's just now time to like really show like, okay, this is the shit I've been working on. This is basically, why I've lost my mind and my health over the last several years. So, I'm in a much better spirits than I've been over the last, few years or so. Things are actually in place. Now we are, because of the work I've done over the last few weeks, even though I didn't go to the fight, we're actually now recognized as credible media now. The stream's probably not lagging. It's on your end, bro. Remember, usually if there's lag, it's usually sometimes on your end, especially if you're the only one that's saying it's lagging. You see what I'm saying? So right now, man, there's so much news. So basically tomorrow, usually I don't like working on Sundays, So tomorrow I'm going to pump out 3 videos just because, meaning actually not tomorrow, but today since it's Sunday. And if you know, it's 3:40 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But since it's daylight saving times, if it was yesterday, it'd be 2:40. 2:40. Oh, by the way, we're doing like a zero tolerance thing around here now too. So we're gonna be blocking people. I'm sorry. I've been, people have been talking to me about it. They say, why do you give people so many chances? Because I do feel that when you block people, it's kind of like, like weirdo shit. Because it's like, well, people should have to say what they want to say. But at the same time, it's like, I've been letting a lot of shit slide for, years now. Without blocking people like I should. And if I block you, that means you really got to be on some nut ass shit. Feel me? So I'm not the type of person that if we have like a disagreement and things like that, I'm going to be like, oh, okay, block. But if you really on some weirdo shit, then it's like, okay, you got to go because I really had to take this shit seriously now. I really had to do things seriously around here. And I can't allow people just to be coming in here, saying whatever they want. I don't want to sound like no bitch. I'm just saying, going forward in the future, I got to do shit like that, So it is a new day around here. Like I said, we're back in the saddle. Today was real hard for me. We're going to start talking about boxing in 4 minutes. Today was a little hard for me, because like getting your body used to like a Saturday boxing schedule. For example, you had Demetrius Andrade, who fought over in Germany. My sleeping habits, I'm getting my sleeping habits back down to where they used to be, because as over the last several months, the reason why the background has changed is because I bought a house. So doing all this moving around and doing everything by myself, my sleeping habits been all over the place. So now I'm going to get back to the way things were before, where I can just start my day at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, do some videos, chill for a minute, take a nap, do some more videos and such and such. So when you have a fight, like for example, when you have a fight that's happening, overseas, overseas, not in the United States, that fight, the main event may come on at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Usually they're in a ring about that time. And then if there's a good undercard, you see what I'm saying? You got to watch all that shit. But then tonight you had the HBO fights that didn't start till 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you see what I'm saying? There's a lot of you got to train your body for that shit. So the plan is I'm going to go to one fight a month. There was a fight I was supposed to be at last night, a Philly fight, but truth be told, I just couldn't do it. I didn't want to risk going out there, especially after being sick last week. I was supposed to be at Thurman Garcia. The next fight I will be in, there's 2 in April. There's another Philly fight card I got to make up for that I got to go to. And also Berto versus Porter. And then we're going to do it that way. And then, slowly but surely, as I've been talking about several months, getting more and more people out there to fights. For example, we've been doing major work over in Ireland, and we're expanding into the UK. A friend of mine, also one of the moderators for the website, named Mike, is over there putting in major work in the UK and in Ireland. So we got things moving. And as far as the podcast is concerned, I'm not going to start. I believe I want to start in April. Now, the reason why I haven't started the podcast, obviously, because I didn't want to start a podcast while my schedule was so erratic and me doing all this moving around and all this shit. So when you do a podcast, it's got to be consistent. So I didn't want to start the podcast until I started the house. Now, I don't want to start the podcast until I get the basement redone. I'm getting all this wood panel shit taken down, and it's going to be modernized panels, to give it like a studio feel. So as soon as I get that done, which will be sometime in the next 4 weeks or so, then I'll be happy with starting the podcast. Like once my new desk get here and all that, like I want to make sure that when I do the podcast, it's a stream or a Google Hangout at the same time. So right now, I just been here. I haven't been here 3 weeks yet. So I'm just, it's a lot of shit I get done. So once those things are done over the next several weeks, then my life will be stabilized to whereas then, I'll be able to do a podcast. Feel me? So meantime, what I'm worrying about right now is making sure I get out videos consistently to let everybody know, okay, all right, I'm back. So that takes like a lot of discipline in itself, like to be able to do that every day consistently. Don't get me wrong, I can do videos all day, every day. Even if I just having regular conversations with people, can be a video about boxing. It's just that, sitting down and actually doing all the stuff behind the scenes. The videos are the easy part. But anyway, yeah, let's get to boxing. So, it's like this. Did you see the Demetrius Andrade fight? If you didn't, he won the WBA world title at 154 pounds. Now, the world title is this. If you don't know, the regular title is the belt that Erislandy Lara had when Floyd Mayweather was champion at 154 pounds. Floyd Mayweather was the super world. Erislandy Lara was the world. Now Erislandy Lara is the super world. Demetrius Andrade is the world. Jack Culcay got that because he was an interim champion that was elevated after Mayweather retired. So therefore, since he was elevated, Lara was elevated. So basically, if all goes well, which they're supposed to do anyway, the WBA should order Demetrius Andrade after one defense. He deserves one defense. Or, I believe, from my understanding, the Super World, the WBA champion has 120 days. I don't feel like going through the rules. It's too late right now. The point I'm trying to make is the WBA should order him to fight Erislandy Lara. Now, if anything, this is the year that Demetrius Andrade needs to fight 3 times. He didn't look good. He was sluggish. You can blame it on the inactivity, even though he fought last June. It was 9 months ago. You can blame it on him being, he looked sluggish, he looked slow, and he looked tired. Also, for him to weigh in to fight at 154, he looked like he came in there like 180, and then he's about 6 foot, 6'2", 6'1", 6'2", whatever. So he was huge up in there, despite the fact that Jack Culcay is only 5'7". Still, he was a big dude. Pause. You see what I'm saying? So he didn't look good in there. Now, here's the thing. I really don't want to judge him off of this fight, but at the same time, it's like Okay, when I did my short video on it earlier, people thought I was trying to clown Germany, saying, well, Germany always has bad cards. Come on, that's how females think. Obviously, Germany is not the only place to have bad cards. You know how you say shit and people just take and just turn that shit into whatever they want to? I understand there's bad cards, but I'm talking about through recent history, Germany has been somewhat known to have bad cards. In this case, Demetrius Andrade won that fight. Why do we have a 115, 114 card? I'm not the only one saying this shit. You see what I'm saying? So the fight that he was fighting in there, for one, he was fighting all low. His punches was, how can I put it? I lost the words. He looked sloppy. He was heavy. He looked sloppy. And he was and he was sluggish. And then for him to be that at his height, he fighting short and he fighting at Jack Culcay level. So I'm not going to judge him off this fight. He needs to stay busy fight, because he's a champion. They don't fight somebody in the top 15. It's the WB. They're going to let you do whatever the fuck you want anyway. They're going to let you do whatever the fuck you want anyway. Unless fans, just like fans, was like, yo, Jenny Jacobs has got to fight Golovkin. We got to be like, yo, Lindy Lars got to fight, Demetrius Andrade, because he's fighting motherfucking Yuri Thurman's and shit. And Jan Zavex. So both of them need a big fight, and it can be on Showtime, and they can get a nice little bit of money. In this case, I believe the purse bid for this Andrade fight was like $425,000, some shit like that. He only got 25% of that. Then he had to go over to Germany to win that belt. So people saying shit like, well, why did he fight over in Germany? Well, he in his situation, he had to go get that belt, because if you look at the landscape, right, you got Jared Swift-Hurd, who's the IBF champion, WBO champion at 154 is Canelo. He's not getting that fight. You got Jamel Charlo, who's the WBC. Jamel Charlo's got to fight Charles Hatley. That's going to be happening in May. It was supposed to happen today, but that's going to be happening sometime, from what I understand, at the end of May. And what else? When you look at the Lara fight, that fight can happen. It's all about if Andrade and his team want that fight right now. And I say, listen, he's been talking all this shit. Even though you ain't look good today, I may want him to take, like a fight, to work on that rust or whatever the fuck that shit was earlier. But at the same time, it's like, well, you've been talking all that shit, so go fight Lara, but he's got to push for it. Will he push for it? Then you got Jared Swift-Hurd. I don't think Al Heyman's going to do that to Swift-Hurd at this point in time in his career. Also, another video I'm going to do tomorrow to explain more in detail is that there's heavy circulation rumors, and I even talked with Travis Gotti about it yesterday, about how Kell Brook may not fight Errol Spence. He might fight Gerald Swift-Hurd at 154 pounds. So I don't think that Al Heyman would do that to Swift-Hurd just yet. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at the WBO, now remember, we already went through the WBC, who's Jamel Charlo. He's fighting Charles Hatley. We already went through the the WBA. Remember, Andrade's WBA World. Arizona Lara WBA Super World. That fight can happen. And then you got Swift-Hurd, IBF, and then you got Canelo WBO. So, let's go look at the rankings real quick. It just so happens I have the rankings on my page now. I got to upload that. I got to update those shits. But we have the rankings on my page now. Oh, you know what? I don't want to do this right now. I forgot. I got to get some more bandwidth. What's that shit called? Like when your website be running slow and shit. I don't know. It's something that be happening. I don't know what it is. I got to figure it out. But anyway, we go figure this shit out. But I'm not going to do that right now. I'm not going to put the rankings right now. But basically, when you look at names at 100, well, I do need to look at the names, right? So I'm tired. I don't remember that shit. I'm sorry for all the profanity. Sorry for all the profanity. Now let's look at some names that are 154 pounds that are not champions. Could you, like, okay, let's say if this is just a tune-up, like warm-up type fight. Not a warm-up fight. He's a champion. I'm not trying to make no excuses for him. I'm just saying I do want him to fight 3 times this year, meaning Andrade. I do want him to fight 3 times this year, and he's got some shit he needs to work on. Now, he just won the belt. Can you really, really blame him for trying to make a little bit of money in a fight against a top 15 guy, whatever the case may be? So the reason why I'm saying this is, you got names like, for example, him versus Austin Trout. And then let's say after he fights Austin Trout, or if he wins that fight, or or any fighter that he fights next, and at the end of the year he fights Lara or somebody, then I guess it would be worth it. Kind of like, Danny Garcia got a little bit of a pass to fight Samuel Vargas because we knew he was going to fight Thurman next. You see what I'm saying? So what if he fights? I don't want to see him versus Ishe Smith. You got Tony Harrison out there, even though he's coming off, of the loss. You got Julian J. Rock Williams. That would be a big fight. Would Julian J. Rock Williams take that fight? You got Liam Smith over in the UK. You even got Dirty Diego Chavez and John Jackson. So you got, let me see, I'm just throwing out some names, Michael Soro, Sergey Rabchenko, Yoshihiro Kamagai. And then after that, he can go after WBC Charlo or Charles Hatley, whoever wins between that fight, or Erislandy Lara, because let's face it, I don't think that he's going to fight. I don't think that the Swift Herd fight is going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. Or he can go after, he's not going to be able to get Canelo. But one thing also is we have to take into account is that if he wants to unify, he's got that underling belt. And that underling WBA belt is not supposed to be unified. Oh, yeah, Erickson Lubin, you're right. So he can't fight Charlo. He can't fight Charlo. Because here's the thing. They can't skip over Erickson Lubin. Okay, if Jamel Charlo, let's say, I don't want to disrespect Charles Hatley. If Jamel Charlo beats Charles Hatley, he has to fight Erickson Lubin. Unless Jamel Charlo fights Erislandy Lara. Now, if I'm correct, are those the two that are trained by the same one? Which one? Was it Jamal or Jamel that left Ronnie Shields? I forgot. But follow what I'm saying. That doesn't matter. The point I'm trying to make is, only Lara, or according to the WBA rules, right, and the other sanctioning body rules, only Lara should be able to unify with Charlo, not Andrade, because he's got that underling belt. You see what I'm saying? So it's a complex situation, man. Jamal is with you. Jamel is with Spence. Got you. So like I said, he didn't look good, and you can see what his flaws was. But I was thinking to myself, I was like, yo, for one, about German cards, bro. Them shits be fucked up sometimes, and we saw one that was fucked up. But it's like, did you not train properly? And if you didn't, you going to Germany, bro. You can't go over there and try to go to cards, because see, here's what Jack Culcay is doing. They're not dumb. They know that how German cards be, and I'm not disrespecting Germany. I'm just talking about, once again, that Germany has been known, recently to be having some fucked up cards sometimes. So the point I'm trying to make is Demetrius Andrade should have knew that he should have went in there to try to knock Jack Culcay out. But yet he's trying to outbox him. And what you saw Jack Culcay doing was he was bringing on the activity. As the fight went on, he started throwing more and more punches. Even though he couldn't hurt Andrade, he slightly hurt him in the last round, but he couldn't hurt him. But he knew that, and if any boxer should know over in Germany fighting the foreigner, just try to outwork him. One of them goddamn judges has been doing some shit over here in Germany, and they're gonna give the cards to us. Somebody what's German shit? What y'all do over there? What y'all do a lot of, like, what's your shit? What's your drink? What's a German drink? Well, y'all be partying at. Y'all be having those raves and shit, right? With all the lights. Yeah, the German women and Russian women are freaks. I've had a Russian woman before. But anyway, moving on. So there's several things I'm wondering about with Andrade. Like is it weight? That maybe he was sluggish because he did rehydrate a lot. Was it the layoff? But it's not really a layoff. I mean, it's not like he took off a year. It was 9 months. So I just don't. And if you look at it, he has had long strings of inactivity. But the guy we saw tonight does not beat a Canelo, and he does not beat the more active Charlo brothers either. My personal opinion. Just my personal opinion. This is my personal opinion. So I don't even think my mic's plugged in. Is my mic plugged in? I don't think it's plugged in. I don't think it's plugged in. But anyway. But anyway, on to the next topic. Man, dude got knocked. Man, listen, I'm glad he's okay. He wasn't at the post-fight press conference. Obviously, if you got knocked the fuck out like that, You know, and I'm not joking around about it. That shit was fucked up. You know, you go directly to the hospital. Curtis Stevens was asleep, man. He was like snoring. And let's talk about that. Let's go see if we can look at this highlight one more time. He was snoring, man. I was scared to death. I was looking at him, and then his mama trying to keep it. She was trying to keep that shit cool, you know, but she was going through it. Obviously, she was going through it. You know? Hold on, let me do it this way. She was just trying to, God bless mama. She was just trying to, and it was his birthday yesterday. Talk about the after party, right? It's his birthday, man's birthday.
I'm not sure if
Lemieux gave his ass a gift. It wasn't no decision. He gave his ass a gift. You know? But you know, we should have known that okay, here's the thing about David Lemieux. I said it earlier. Can't you kind of look at David Lemieux as like a sharper, bigger version of Sean Porter? David Lemieux is a more accurate puncher than Sean Porter. Now follow me. I'm not saying he's an accurate puncher, like a super accurate puncher, but he's a more accurate puncher than Sean Porter. He has that pressure like Sean Porter, but he doesn't smother his punches like Sean Porter. What if Sean Porter was you know just as accurate as David Lemieux? But the thing about David Lemieux is once you get through that early onslaught, you got to get through that early onslaught. David Lemieux, those first several rounds are dangerous, but what did you see Golovkin do? Sticking that jab in your face. So therefore, we know like, okay, you got to give him you got to give him something to keep him off you. And if you don't have the punch output, you know, just like Curtis Stevens didn't have, throwing 1-2 punches at a time, David Lemieux is going to keep walking you down. You know? You know, yeah, Sean Porter is too erratic. More like David Lemieux is more controlled. You know, but Sean Porter is very erratic, man. He be all over the place. You know, so we should have known, like from the beginning, that well, if David Lemieux, you know, can just if Curtis Stevens doesn't have a punch to keep him off of him, then he's got a good chance of whooping his ass. And what did we see? We saw that David Lemieux was just walking him down. You know, you saw that Curtis Stevens landed just a couple, like he landed a couple good shots, but literally a couple good shots, and it just wasn't enough. I remember when they got knocked out, they was exchanging the hooks. Lemieux got there first, and it was harder. Curtis Stevens with that high guard, and no jab. He don't use no jab. You know, he don't use no movement really. He just be right there to be hit. And despite what you may think about David Lemieux in his last fight, his last loss against Golovkin, and how he looked against that Fabian guy, whoever he fought last time, I forgot. And the fact that he lost to Marco Antonio Rubio, basically he quit because he was gassed out. You know, you got to think, man. You don't know, man. I don't know. That shit was ugly though, man. Like he was just laying there and breathing all hard. Like it was just, and I was looking like, man, like when you see people get knocked the fuck out like that, you be scared, man. You be scared as shit. Because you think like, oh my God, please don't die. Like when you saw Pacquiao get knocked out and laid on his little ass fucking gloves, it was like you saw the little snot piece, whatever the fuck that shit come out of that big ass white boogie come out his nose. And his little stance he was in, like laying on his gloves, face all down. And you got that one guy like this, like, you know, you got Mitt Romney, son of a bitch over there, jinxed the fight. Shit was crazy. You know, so, and then the thing is, Curtis Stevens almost got the worst of both worlds. You know, imagine being put to sleep and, okay, like it's already bad to be knocked out the ring, right? But imagine being put to sleep and knocked out the ring and you sleep outside the ring. That's like the worst type knockout you can have, like being put to sleep outside of the ring. That's the worst type knockout you can ever experience. What if he would have went flying onto that table, all knocked out? I would have been no more good. I would have been no more good, yo. I would have been no more good. I wouldn't have been no more good. So now Curtis Stevens, he took one of them type of knockouts where he's got to take some time off. You know, because it's like, well, where do you really go from here? And the thing is, they was going back and forth on social media for a while, to the point where you had, go check it out. You had David Lemieux talking like he was from Brownsville, like he was from fucking Queens and shit. He was talking some gangster ass shit. He's like, yo, son. That's his one tweet. He was like, yo, son, if I fight you, it's not even enough to feed my kids. There's some old crazy ass shit he was saying. They was going back. They was going at it on social media. So David Lemieux came in on some hood shit like, yo, you been talking all this shit, I'm going to beat you the fuck up. That shit was crazy. Yeah, Curtis Stevens be talking some shit. He do be talking some shit, man. What the fuck is that on my shoulder? He do be talking some shit. But I don't want to see no shit like that no more, man. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love boxing, man. My God, he knocked him the fuck out. He knocked him the fuck out. And you know, that's why, man, people be getting, did you notice people be getting beat up when their mom come to fights? I want my mom in my fight. Don't come to my, no, listen, don't come to my fight. You know? You're going to get me beat the fuck up. Oh, but anyway, let's take a little bit of a break and y'all can listen to this crazy shit. That shit was crazy, man. I was scared. I was scared as shit. Where's that?
Oh, out cold. And now pulled it back. As the doctor is looking at it very carefully. David Lemieux walks around cockily as if to say, well, I knew exactly what was
This is disconcerting because generally someone is not unconscious this long after a knockout.
He's breathing.
However, the really dangerous kind of ring tragedy fights are generally fights that occur over many rings.
David's hook did land. Short left hook. Didn't travel more than 10 or 12 inches. Joe Lewis like. Perfect. Once again, beautiful straight right hand.
That's how Amir Khan beat.
Right here, but, oh my goodness. David's hook hit the button.
That's how Amir Khan beat.
Curtis's hook did. So that's the knockout power.
We're going to listen to the post-fight interview, talk a little bit about what's next for David Lemieux and Curtis Stevens. Then we're going to go into the next topic, which is motherfucking Gabriel Rosado, Yorkis Gamboa. You know, oh, drug test. You know what? Yeah, get that piss. Then I think about it. You know what? Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. They better have got that piss. Because you know he had trouble making weight. And he missed the day of weigh-in. They better get that piss. Let's watch the post-fight interview. Oh, he didn't weigh in.
Not terribly demonstratively.
Whatever, get that piss.
The focus now is on
I want that piss. I want blood. I want saliva. I want hair follicles. I want some shit out your sweat glands. Some fecal matter.
This is one of those
We
moments
tested all that shit.
reminds you that boxing is not a game.
Some feces. We will test those feces. We tested everything.
Are always fighting for their lives.
Nah. You on some freak shit, dude. But you're waiting for the post-fight interview to hear what David Lemieux has to say. The crazy thing is, you know, if you don't know what's going to happen after Golovkin versus Jacobs, if he doesn't fight Billy Joe Saunders next, which he's heavily rumored to, he's got a whole string of mandatories. So he may very well have to fight David Lemieux again, just like Deontay Wilder has to fight Mace Severn again. But we're going to talk about that later on in the video. Curtis Stevens is cool, by the way. You know, they took him to the hospital. You know, of course you go to the hospital after that. But he was knocked the fuck out. It's crazy because, you know, he's a good fighter and on the streets, you know, like he like well known and shit. But at the same time, you know, you got to, you know, you can't talk so much shit no more. You can't talk so much shit no more, you know, because it's like you got knocked out. You got knocked out cold. How can you talk shit after that? You know? I wouldn't be talking shit to nobody if I get beat up like that.
Let's take a look at final copy box numbers.
Anyway, listen to this.
In this brief fight, Lemieux came out firing, dominated the first round, piled up a one-stat edge over Curtis Stevens. Ultimately, the copy box numbers find Lemieux landing 57 more punches, 93 to 36, throwing 161 more punches, and landing at a higher percentage. Curtis Stevens gave an account of himself in there, landing some very good, clean shots. And then ultimately in round number 3, Lemieux landed the thunderous punch that brought an end to the fight. He landed 56% of his power shots. And despite the fact that he looked a little bit out of shape, nevertheless got done exactly what he was wanting to get done. Now let's go to Max Kellerman with David Lemieux.
Congratulations, David, on one of the most devastating and scariest one-punch knockouts I've ever seen, to tell you the truth. Tell me about it.
I told you before I did it. I told you what I was going to do tonight, and I did it. I hope he's healthy and everything goes good.
What do you see here? We're replaying it right here.
I see checkmate. It's a perfect connection, and it's been what we've been practicing for and what we've been looking for to do.
Physically, to be candid, you did not look as cut up as you sometimes do before the fight. You looked like you were heavier, like not in the best shape of your career. And he started to seem to give you some problems in the second round before that one-punch shot. Were you in the best shape?
Absolutely. I was in very great shape. Actually, the reason I slowed down was because my trainer was telling me to relax and find the openings and pick your shots properly instead of wasting your shots for nothing. So we paced it ourselves, and as the openings came, we took him. I was in great shape. Actually, I had a great camp leading up to this fight, and like I said, we have big plans ahead.
Did you feel his power at all when he was coming on in that second round?
Yeah, he's a strong guy. He's a physically strong guy, but nothing impressive. Nothing that slowed me down, as you saw.
That was such an impressive display of one-punch knockout power. Do you think it puts you right back in the mix?
Well, I told you guys where I was going to be, and I said it, and I did it, and I guess you guys tell me if you think I should be back in the pick. I think the fans want to see great fights and have great fights to give. Whenever I come out, I give the fans my heart out on the ring, and you always see the 100% of me. Stevens was a solid fighter. We trained very well for him, and we came to do what we needed to do, and we did. We were successful.
Assuming that this is not enough to get you the fight you really want, which is to avenge the defeat to Triple G yet, who else is out there that you would be interested in facing coming up?
Of course, we want to face the best fighters out there. Definitely, whatever name is up there, I want to face them. There's Saunders, who has the title. There's Canelo, that we've been talking about a lot. Canelo is a solid fighter, a great fighter. And for sure, there's the Kingpin, Golovkin, that for sure I would love to defeat.
Congratulations, David. That was like a Julian Jackson-esque knockout. That was truly a memorable one, and of course, we all hope that Curtis Stevens is okay. Jim?
If you don't know, you should have put together by now that David Lemieux is Canelo's contingency plan. So basically, if Canelo doesn't fight Chavez in a rematch, win or loss, if he doesn't fight Canelo, then he'll fight David Lemieux at 160. So that needs to be known. So what's next for David Lemieux? Like I said, I mean, he's not going to get Golovkin anytime soon. Would you like to see him versus Charlo at 160? Could Golden Boy and Heyman can get that done? That's a fight that can happen. David Lemieux is not owned by Showtime. What about, I would like to see Charlo versus David Lemieux. I remember at one point in time they were under the same banner. Charlo versus David Lemieux and the winner of that can get Golovkin, right? Let me go see where he's ranked. I know Charlo's ranked number 2. I did see the new WBC rankings. He is ranked number 2, but where is David Lemieux ranked right now, and will they put him in the rankings next month? You see what I'm saying? Now, one thing is for sure is technically, wait a minute. This guy, his name is Jorge Sebastian Hyland. He should have got a shot at the WBC title a long time ago. So in my personal opinion, you know, they're not going to screw over Jorge Sebastian Hyland anymore. So it's probably going to be Jamal Charlo versus Jorge Sebastian Hyland. You know, then the winner of that gets Golovkin as far as the WBC is concerned. So, I wouldn't say that Gamboa. Somebody said that Gamboa looked shot. Did y'all watch the fight? Let me tell you what happened, right? I told you how I was like, I'm getting my body together and everything, you know, to be able to do these videos every day. We're going to be back, like I said, doing 3+ videos a day, you know, 6 days a week. And then we're going to be doing live streams. And as I told you, I got to a point, or he wasn't here, I got to a point now in life where I'm actually able to finally focus on boxing the way I want to, you know. So I was sick last week. I was supposed to be at Thurman versus Porter. Didn't end up going because I got sick on my way there. I'm talking about violently sick, had hospitalized twice in 2 days, you know. And I had to take the whole week off just to get my mind together because I've been running around for the last several months and doing a lot of shit over the last couple of years, getting shit popping. Kind of went a little crazy, lost a bit of my mind, but for the most part now we're calming down, everything's done. So now I can focus on boxing and do, you know, like what I've always wanted to do. So we're going to go this media route, and then sometime in the next several years, or a few years, you know, we're going to transition into promoting fights. So in the meantime, I've been having to get my body together, you know, like to be able to do these videos, especially when it comes to Saturdays. So I gotta, like, I used to have a nice little schedule, you know, like a sleep schedule, and now I'm going to get back to that, to where, you know, I don't get tired. So when fights come on, so for example, the Andrade fight wasn't over until about 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the Lemieux Stevens fight, that card didn't start till 11 p.m. So I fell asleep. I'm watching the Gamboa fight, right? And I'm falling asleep, and I'm like, man, he looking like trash in there. But at the same time, I do give boxers the benefit of the doubt. He's been off for 15 months. Just so happened I've seen Rene Alvarado fight live before, and he's never really been that good. So I'm wondering, like, well, wait a minute. Is he just looking like trash? He's looking washed up. And then I realized that Gamboa's like 36 years old now. Gamboa, let me look this up to be sure. All these long bouts of inactivity, Father Time done caught up with his little ass. He's 35 years old. He's going to be 36 at the end of this year. So basically, you know, he could be very well, though that inactivity could have very well caught up with his ass. You see what I'm saying? So he was having some issues in there, you know, and like, put it this way, you know, he usually looks fast, you know, and he usually is able to, you know, somewhat outclass his opponents early, you know, but he always been known for getting knocked down. And mostly when he gets knocked down, it's because of too much offense and defensive mistakes. You can see the mistakes that he makes, like clearly when he gets knocked down, where he just tries to do too much, but he gets back up. Now, when it comes to the Crawford fight, Crawford was just so much more bigger than him, height-wise, overall physical body-wise, reach, everything. And then once he switched southpaw, he took Yurkis Gamboa's southpaw advantage away from him. Now, I'm not saying that Yurkis Gamboa can't be good, but now that he's with Golden Boy Promotions, if you didn't know, he signed with Golden Boy Promotions. Remember, he was having promotional issues with 50 Cent and couldn't get no fights. When 50 Cent at one fight was coming from the fucking ceiling and shit, like Sting. Remember that shit? What fight was that? When 50 came down for the rafters like Sting. That was, you know. So now he's with Golden Boy. He's on a platform when he can be active. So I say this, you know, looking at the landscape at 130 pounds, where he's going to be. You know, he weighed in at 131, a little over 131, but he came into the ring at 145. But basically, he's going to be fighting at 130 pounds. You got Miguel Berto. It's all about if the WBC is going to rank him next month, because he's not ranked right now by the WBC. You got you got that WBA World vacated title out there by that Jason Sosa gave up to fight Lomachenko. You got Corrales, and you got Gervonta Davis, who's going to be taking on Liam Walsh. And then he's saying that he wants Lomachenko, and even Golden Boy saying they want to make Gamboa versus Lomachenko. Now that would be an excellent fight. But obviously, it all depends on how you look at Gamboa, because the Gamboa we've seen tonight is not going to beat no Lomachenko. It's probably going to get knocked out. So it's all about how you really rank Gamboa. But he's a very good fighter, and both of those guys' amateur background alone is enough for me to want to see the fight. Because if this fight happened, put it this way, like globally for amateur boxing fans, Gamboa versus Lomachenko is a dream fight. But at the same time, we know that Lomachenko is so much better than what we see of this faded, non-active Gamboa that we're seeing now. So that's why I say he's another guy, just like Demetrius Andrade, that needs to fight 3 times this year. He's got this March comeback fight out of the way. Remember, he has a 15 months. Get another fight in June or so against a somewhat quality known name. Let me just rattle off some names to you. You got Steven Smith from the UK. You got Miguel Roman. You got Roman Rocky Martinez. You even got Orlando Salido. They could do that again. Takashi Miura. Javier Fortuna possibly can happen. Jose Pedraza possibly can happen. The reason why I'm saying that is Heyman fighters. Andrei Klimov. I don't want to do that right now. Tevin Former. Mario Barrios. So the point I'm trying to make is, you even got guys like Billy Dibb, and Orlando Cruz. So the point I'm trying to make is there's fights out there that can be made for him to start building his name back up. But the thing is, they can't be no political bullshit. And in order for him to become like a known name, especially that HBO has invested in televising his fight, they want to still keep him relevant. And remember, HBO built him for the most part. He's got to fight like good names. Or known names, and he's got to be active. He can't just have this one fight this year against Rene Alvarado and struggle against him, and then we don't see him again until next year. Yeah, you're getting old, bro. He's getting up there. So he's got to work on that shit. But see, this is what we're gonna do. See, this is only gonna be an hour and 10-minute long stream. It's gonna be an hour and 10-minute long stream. Truth be told, I'm confused. I don't even know what the fuck time it is. I know the hour went up, right? Spring forward, fall back. So the hour went up, but I forget, did I start at 2:30 or 3:30, or I don't know. Did it even go up or back? Whatever. I think we've been live for about 50 minutes, right? Some shit like that. We've been live for about 50 minutes. Why so short? Because we got to get more organized. We get more organized. So it's Golovkin versus Jacobs fight week. I wanted to get out there tomorrow, meaning Monday, but there's this snowstorm coming that I just found out about, like a foot of snow or some shit, So that's kind of whack. So I'm gonna be definitely paying close attention to the weather over the next, like 24 hours or so to see what's going on with that. Because I just want to just really get Danny Jacobs and Tom Lover, pretty much the promoter of Golovkin. Because if you don't know, okay, now put this shit together yourself, right? Put this shit together yourself. That Avanta Deals Kahert CDs. Let me pull this guy out. Vanderbilt. Don't ask me how I know how to spell this guy's name. He's a Lou DiBella's fighter. Avtendil Kurtsidis. Whatever. Anyway, he's fighting, right? He's the WBO #1 contender. But get this. He's fighting Tommy Langford in the UK for the WBO interim title. Why is there a WBO interim title if Billy Joe Saunders is not injured. Because guess what? They, meaning Golovkin, from what I'm understanding, Golovkin and Billy Joe paid this Kurt Seedy guy to step aside. You gotta follow what I'm saying. I shouldn't have to get any deeper than that. That right there is number one proof that Golovkin versus Billy Joe Saunders is happening next. Because why is Billy Joe not fighting his mandatory? And then as a WBO interim title, what the fuck? So the rumor is it's supposed to take place in June in Kazakhstan, and if Danny Jacobs loses or Golovkin beats Danny Jacobs, then it's going to be announced at the end of the fight. And word on the curb is that Billy Joe is supposed to be there. That's the word on the curb. That's the word on the curb. So I think that shit's happening. Now, I said this about Golovkin versus Jacobs. Did you see the HBO 24/7? If you want to see the HBO versus, if you want to see the Golovkin Jacobs HBO 24/7, click the link in the description box. You know, Fight View 360 at the full episode on the website. If you noticed, HBO 24/7 been kind of whack. Their shit's been whack. This one I was actually entertained. I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, I was playing 2K, you know, and I was uploading some shit to the website, and I was uploading videos, doing little tags and shit, and I was watching it right here, and I was like, all right, this is kind of right. You know, there was one particular segment where I liked what Danny Jacobs said about how that, you know, if he was to hit Golovkin with the same shots Kell Brook was to hit him with, you know, what would happen? People say that Kell Brook exposed him. Kell Brook did some good work, but at the same time, after Golovkin got tired of that shit, he broke his eye socket. He broke his eye socket. He broke his face. He's a 147-pounder, though. And if you look at Golovkin's resume, who on Golovkin's resume, you know, is better than Danny Jacobs? Let's keep it 100. Outside of the knockout. Yes, Danny Jacobs was knocked out 12 fights ago. 12 straight knockouts. But who is better than Golovkin? Can you say Martin Murray? I'm talking about the Martin Murray that fought Golovkin when he fought him, not the one that fought Sergio Martinez. Not Dominic Wade. Willie Monroe was a slick boxer, but he's not better. David Lemieux's not better than Danny Jacobs. Osumanu Adama. My God, Marco Antonio Rubio. But the biggest thing you have to look at when it comes to Danny Jacobs is he's been knocked out cold. He was put to sleep. He did wake back up. And he was like, no, but he didn't know he was asleep. And also he had that flash knockdown against Sergio Mora. You can't overlook that. He was knocked down by the Latin snake, soft punching Sergio Mora. You can't overlook that. You know? So it's like you've been down and you can go down. So that's the reason, one of the main reasons why he's not the favorite to win this fight, because you saw him P-Raw did, and I remember I watched that fight in detail with supporters, you know, like people on my Facebook page. Watched it in detail, like a film study. We do that every like Tuesday. We're going to do it. We're going to be doing it consistently every Tuesday now. You know, Dimitri P-Raw like outboxed him, you know, and then knocked him out. He outclassed Danny Jacobs. Yes, Danny Jacobs was young. Yes, his grandmother had died, and yes, you know, he was diagnosed with cancer. Just what? I think it was like a couple of months or so after that. I forgot how long. But still, then you get knocked down by Sergio Mora. You have to look at that. Now, when you look at the biggest wins of Danny Jacobs' career, you have to say what? Peter Quillen, Gerald Fletcher, depending on how you look at Gerald Fletcher, who used to have an excellent amateur background. But at that point in time, Gerald Fletcher had already lost to Billy Joe Saunders, if I'm correct. You know, you can't count Caleb Truax or E.C. Smith. There's really nothing there outside of Peter Quillen and Sergio Mora. But if you look at Golovkin's record, you know, it's not really much there either. Golovkin's 36-0 with 33 KOs. Danny Jacobs 32-1 with 29 KOs. But in this case, even though Danny Jacobs has been knocked out, he's got to come in there. He can't be on no bitch shit. He can't be scared. He's got to go in there and try to fuck Golovkin up, because he's going to be the hardest puncher Golovkin has fought, and the youngest, most athletic middleweight that Golovkin has fought. So he's got to go in there like, yeah, I'm on your level. But will he? You know, people talk all that I'm not scared stuff outside the ring. And I like Danny Jacobs as the person, like him as a fighter. And I even like him as a commentator because, you know, like you listen to him, like, you know, he's very articulate and he knows how to talk. I like fighters who's good on the microphone. Except that whole shit about eating, you know, such and such as chocolate. Remember that shit he said, that freak shit? So we'll have to see, man, because like I said, you know, the fighters, they be talking all that shit out the ring. I'm not saying he talking shit. I'm just saying, but then when they get in the ring, they be scared. You know, he can't be going, you know, he's got to go in and go right at him. Just like he said during the HBO 24/7. You know, I wonder what would have happened if I land that shot. And he was talking about that uppercut that Kell Brook landed on Golovkin. But once again, Kell Brook, after Golovkin got sick of that shit, he broke Kell Brook's eye socket. But Kell Brook did show, oh shit, you know, do you really be taking these punches because you want the Mexican style? Or do you take these punches because they're defensive flaws? Because he says that he likes to, yeah, come on, I like feel power. This is fight, serious business. Or is he just talking shit, you know? Do you got defensive flaws or you just talking shit, bro? So we're gonna see, man. We're gonna see. You know, I like Danny Jacobs, but you know, people give Golovkin so much disrespect because of his resume, and people look down on the fact that he's trying to be undisputed. Like, we're in a generation right now where I don't know how the fuck this happened. That people don't give a fuck about belts no more. They don't give a fuck about being undisputed. The fighters do, but I'm talking about the fans. They don't. They be like, oh well, why won't he move up? Because if he move up and fight such and such, he may lose that belt or lose that belt. He's very close to being the next undisputed champion. The last one was Jermaine Taylor after he beat Bernard Hopkins. What was that, 2007 or some shit? I forgot. It was so long ago, I don't remember. I know it's probably longer than that. To have all 4 belts to dominate your division, and then with the mandatories that he's got coming his way, with the Charlos and all those 154ers that's going to have to move up. Imagine, right, if he has all the belts. If you want to be champion at 160 because you can't make weight at 154, you got to go through him. The reason why the fight's on pay-per-view is because of the money. And truth be told, I want to see that fight. I want to see that fight. You know, so if I don't go, you know, then what? I'm paying that $64.99. I want to see that fight. I'm salivating for it. I'm salivating for him. They've been doing a pretty good job promoting this fight. You may say it's gonna fail, you know, but see, I can't. Yeah, I'm different than y'all. Y'all don't have to buy the fight, to whereas I have to buy the fight. You know, so you know, if y'all say you're not gonna buy it, I think it's kind of fucked up, especially like support the sport. But at the same time, you know, if y'all don't fucking affect me. Don't affect me, man. Oh, yeah, I'm going to be going hard on social media promoting the shit out this fight this week. I'm going to be going hard on social media. I already got the shit already downloaded. Yeah, buy all the fights. All American fights, for example. I got to stream certain fights because I have no choice. For example, like fucking UK fights and shit. I wish they fixed that. You know, but of course I buy all fights. Why not? I buy all them shits. And just in case motherfuckers try to play, I post my fucking cable bill on my Instagram. Not to show people, okay, yeah, I pay for fights and showing off, but to let people know, like, yo, you know, like, give back to the fucking sport. Don't get me wrong, there's certain shit I shouldn't be paying for. Like, I paid for that Roy Jones fight, you know. I shouldn't have paid for that shit, you know, but it is what it is, man. You know, you win some, you lose some. Life's not fair all the time. I shouldn't have paid for that shit. I was pissed. Like, it wasn't until like the next day I was like, I paid for that fucking fight when I saw it on my DVR, and then I just started festering over it for like 2 weeks. I was like, I paid for that fucking Roy Jones. Damn it. Just that fucking bare known. What happened to me in Roy Jones fight? Nah, you know, negotiations fell apart. I'm still open to talking. You know, negotiations fell apart. We're gonna get something done though. You know, I'm ready. I should pay for that Roy Jones fight. Roy Jones Bobby Gunn, I paid for that shit. But you know, I was, you know, whatever, man. I wasn't in my right mind. But anyway, what's next on the Canelo Chavez? Let me touch on this before I go. Pause. Yeah, we got about 12 minutes. It's like this, right, man? And when I talk to people, I ask people, well, you know, you got Canelo, I mean, you got Chavez losing, but how? They be like, well, Chavez ain't gonna make weight. He gonna be weight drained. Do you know that he's practically on weight right now? And he not walking around like with a cane and shit. The gunfight was $34.99. Way too much. But anyway, you don't see Chavez walking around looking all sickly and shit. You know, too many people relying on him to be weight drained and out of shape. And then not to mention, we don't even know what the fuck the drug testing is for this fight. So don't tell him what the fuck. I'm not making no allegations, man. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. You know, Chavez has the best strength and conditioning coach in the world. In the world. In the world. Are you listening to what I'm saying? The person that's supposed to keep you in shape and keep you healthy before a fight, Chavez Jr. got that guy. Even though he's shady as fuck. Dude is shady. Dude is shady as hell. Chavez got that guy. He's in shape right now. And then there's no rehydration clause. I see Chavez walking through all that shit Canelo's throwing. Canelo fights in 3-punch burst, man. People saying Canelo's going to knock Chavez out. Chavez never been knocked out. He quit against Fonfara because he couldn't bully Fonfara. Fonfara knocked his ass down, was like, welcome to 175, motherfucker. You ain't going to bully me. And then Chavez went to his corner, didn't quit. Then how you quit? Going to tell myself you won. You quit the fight, then tell myself I think I win the fight. The fuck? What shit was that? I'm looking like, and I almost cried that fight. I remember. I be getting emotional, man. But these fights sometimes, man. Chavez Jr. Chavez Jr. I know me sound crazy, but Chavez Jr. For those who know me, he's one of my favorite fighters. He's one of my favorite fighters, man. But he do be on some bullshit. The main reason why Chavez Jr. usually gets in trouble before fights is because he doesn't focus. You know, he be doing other shit like eating cereal in pink underwear while his father downstairs chain smoking, you know, watching footage and shit. You know, Chavez Jr. come downstairs, eating some cereal with his underwear, his pop coming up to him, fucking Newport hanging out of his mouth or a Camel or some shit. Some, yo, listen, I was watching these tapes all night, you know, and look, if you see when he stepped to the right, Chavez like, man, I'm not trying to hear that shit. Go jump in the pool. You know, go jump in the pool. You know, but now they saying Chavez on some focus shit. You know, eating what he's supposed to be eating. You're not hanging out with the cartels. You know, he's not getting high on pot. He's not getting DUIs in his Lambo. Yeah, keeping Freddie Roach waiting at the gym. Freddie Roach, they show Freddie Roach on 24/7 sitting on the bench like this for hours and hours and hours and shit. He used to be on some shit. So now, like, he's focused. And another question. Here's the thing, right? Not only think about this. What if Chavez has no issues making that 164? What if he's not weight drained? And what if Canelo's power doesn't carry up? Then Chavez Jr. has to be the favorite, right? If Canelo's power doesn't carry up and Chavez Jr. is not weight drained, Chavez has to be the favorite, right? Because if Canelo can't hurt Chavez, Canelo, as you noticed, sometimes later in fights, he be on the ropes. You do not want to be on the ropes against Chavez Jr., especially when you're the shorter fighter and you're the physically smaller fighter. 6'1", 6'2" Chavez. You see that face off. 5'7" Canelo. And don't give me that lead listed at 5'9" bullshit because he's shorter than Mayweather. And Mayweather's a legitimate 5'8". So, you know, those are the type of things you have to question, man. I see Chavez walking through that shit. And eventually catching up with Canelo. Canelo's going to be on the back foot. Yeah, he's going to be trying to go for the body. But just like Chavez was trying to go for the body against Fonfara, Chavez was landing some clean-ass shots on Fonfara body. Just Fonfara, period. but his power didn't carry out. What if the same shit happens to Canelo? Just so happened I interviewed from far. You guys should check it out. I had him talking about the fight, giving his prediction. So those are some things you got to question, man. Those are some things you got to question, man. We got about 7 minutes left. People think he's gonna just be drained, They're like, oh, he ain't gonna make weight, but that's people argument, That's people arguments. They're like, well, he gonna be weight drained. I'm like, but what if he's not? But he is. I'm like, but what if he's not? Man, that motherfucker gonna be weight drained. He's probably eating some trippers right now. Or some, so what is it called? Trappers? The fucking intestine tacos? I want some of them shits. I've been looking for them. They say be eating that shit. Having barbecues in a late night with the fucking portable punching bags and shit. Like they did with the Sergio Martinez fight. So, that's things you got to think about, man. I do want some Mexican style food. And what they come up with that catch weight, 164.5. What they come up with that catch weight? 164.5? Like they gotta have the perfect scales and shit. 164.5. What if you 164.51 or some shit? If you 164.51. Like I said, we're gonna be doing this every week after major fights, and then if there's like a special edition news, we're gonna do these live streams. I've been in the stream a lot of I've been under an extreme amount of stress over the last several months, but this was like a week of like rebirth and shit. I've been feeling like real good and like optimistic. Things are like going my way. I just wish I didn't snap on people and like piss people off like I did. But you make mistakes. You just gotta move on. So now we're back. We're gonna be pumping out 3+ videos a day, getting our enterprise going. We're gonna be doing a podcast in April, definitely. If not April, I'm gonna say it's gonna definitely be before May. But what it is I haven't had chance to like get this shit taken down. I'm getting like I'm getting a modernized studio feel. So that's why I can't really set up the podcast and all that stuff right now until all that stuff is done or all this stuff is done. So there's a lot of things in the work. I'm glad, and I'm grateful that you guys have been working with me and bearing with me over these last couple of years now, where I haven't been doing videos consistently. But now we're getting back into it. Don't get me wrong, it takes some discipline to be like, all right, let's get these 3 videos out. But truth be told, it's not hard, because if I can do fucking 3-4 hour videos, I should be able to do multiple 5 to 10, 15-minute videos a day. So we're gonna get back on that. So when it comes to like major news, I'm not ducking you, man. You're not A-side. You don't do the numbers I do. Tell your team to holler at my team. Like, forgot what I was saying, man. People keep trying to call me out. I'm sick of it. I forgot what I was saying. Is Errol Spence versus Kell Brooks still on? I've been hearing crazy shit, man. The president of Showtime said that he wants it that he's been hearing it can happen on the 20th of May, the 27th of May, or June the 3rd. But Kell Brook may be having serious issues dropping that weight. He may be having serious issues dropping that weight. He may be having serious issues dropping that weight. So it's not necessarily known yet if it's off. Like if it's off, like you're going to hear it all over social media. More so, you're likely going to hear from Spence, and somebody's going to be pissed off. So is it completely off? I don't know, man. I don't think so. Not complete. I don't think it's completely off, because if it was, put it this way, if it was completely off, we would know it's completely off. But I really think like I've been hearing like it's that weight. Been hearing like it's that weight is a real issue. That weight is a real issue. And then remember, he got to start training camp soon. They got to start training camp soon. So I guess that maybe losing the weight is the issue because they don't want to lose the belt on the scale. But once they get into the ring, they'll be able to hydrate whatever they want to. Or who knows? I mean, who knows? And then remember, when it's the IBF, you have that day of weigh-in as well. So that shit is tough. And then what? Don't you have 30? You have 30-day weights with the IBF too. So that shit is tough for him, man. That shit's gonna be tough. That weight drop, that weight cut is gonna be crazy. What do y'all think about Berto versus Porter, yo? I'm going. I have mixed feelings on the fight, but I do want to interview Andre Berto though. I have mixed feelings on the fight. If you don't know, the winner of that is going to be getting the winner of Thurman versus Garcia too. If you don't know, that's supposed to be happening. And I finally got a chance to watch Thurman versus Garcia, like what, Thursday or something. I was so hurt last week that I didn't go, that I didn't watch the fight. I was fucking pissed off, hurt, sad, and shit, but depressed and sick. So the main thing is that it's the winner gets a title shot. But what does the fight like? Are you really do you really want to are you really hyped for the fight? I guess it's going to be a good fight because it's a crossroad fight for both fighters. Like the story behind the fight, the fact that when Berto lose, he's really, 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 really done. But if Sean Porter lose, he's kind of like done too. You see what I'm saying? So just like Adrian Broner has problems fighting on the back foot with movement and punch output, Sean Porter, they're going to be telling him to leave his team if he don't win this fight because it's like, yo, you got to fix that wild ass smothering style you got. That shit's too wild and erratic, bro. Berto, however, we've seen, despite if it was injuries or not, has problems with pressure fighters. The Victor Ortiz first fight, Jesus Soto Carras, Robert Guerrero, even Luis Collazo back in the day. So he has problems with pressure fighters. And Sean Porter is a pressure fighter. So he's going to have him on the ropes. He's going to have Berto on the ropes. So, it all depends on how you look at it. We got 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. Oh, man. Been a productive day. And I got to put out some articles. I'm going to go from there. But yeah, let me see. What's next week's boxing schedule? Let me tell you real quick. What next week's boxing schedule is, so you'll know what our next stream is. Once again, I'll say it again. I'm going to be putting out 3+ videos a day. 6 days a week. And if there's breaking news, we'll do like random ass streams and shit. To talk about it. What you call me for today? Okay, so next week. Oh yeah. Oh, we know what's next week. It's Golovkin versus Jacobs. And then the day before, we got Travis Kaufman versus Amir Mansour, Edner Cherry versus Omar Douglas, Herman Citron, Steve Cunningham returns as PBC on bounce. We got Michael Collins' New York debut. That's at Madison Square Garden as well. The day before Golovkin versus Jacobs, Chocolatito Gonzalez. I'm not calling him man on Chocolatito. He's just Roman Gonzalez. Versus Sisakat Sor Rangvasai. Okay, we're just going to call him SSR. I'm going SSR. Carlos Cadas versus David Kimona. Didn't Juan Francisco Estrada for tonight? I had it DVR'd, but then it was DVR'd for HD, and I don't have beIN Sports in HD. You got Andy Lee fighting. Robert Stieglitz is fighting Erkan Tibur. He's not fighting Erkan Tibur, but both of those guys are fighting next week. Next week is some nice cards. You even got a Samuel Vargas who's returning, fighting up in Ontario, Canada. So we got a nice little schedule ahead of us, man. Yeah, I'm not calling no grown man no Chocolatito, yo. That's just like calling Peter Quillen. I don't call Peter Quillen Kid Chocolate. It's like, yo, bro, that shit sounds so. Come on, man. Don't no grown man call a man Chocolatito. Man, I'm just saying, just me. Just me. That's just me. Maybe I'm on some weird shit. Nah, Corey, you ain't getting no shout out. You ain't A-side, dog. You ain't A-side. Let me see. I'm reading the comments now. What do y'all be talking about? What do you be talking about? Yeah, Kermit Citron's still fighting. He's going to fight my man. He was supposed to, or rumored to, for my man Hector. Shit. Tired of shit. But all right, guys. You know, thanks for chilling with me. We don't want this stream to drag on. So, like I said, you'd expect videos from me, you know, every day. You know, and as time goes on, we get my mojo back. You know, it is what it is. T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. I cover every single match fight live. If depending on what's going on with this snowstorm, because I'm not doing no more stressful boxing work. Depending on what's going on with this snowstorm in New York is going to define whether I'm going to Golovkin versus Jacobs like this week, you know, or any event. I'm going to one event depending on how this weather shit work out. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. Please subscribe and listen to my social media right down below in the description box.